you want to come back and watch any piece of this, you absolutely can. Again, I want this to be interactive. You all did a really great job of that last week. So please, raise your hand. Brittany will alert me, letting me know, of course, in the training room that you have a question or you need me to re-explain something. Of course, Erica, Jennifer, please feel free to raise your digital hand, put it in the chat, whatever that looks like. We do want to be following along, ideally, with that test opportunity that we created last week. So if you have that, I'll give you a second or so to kind of pull that up and get ready, since we are going to be adding on to that. Perfect. So what are we going to be talking about? Now, it is going to be topic-based. So remember last week, we had that workflow. We kind of did it step by step. We did this first with, in Command. Then we went over into Docusign. We did everything, and then we finished the whole process. Today, it's going to be topic-based. So we're going to talk static data form templates. Then we're going to go into in-person signing, emailing documents to a room, splitting, combining, and then voiding and correcting. Last week, we did talk about what to do when things fall through, so we don't need to necessarily dive into that today. We can do a refresh if you need it, but that's when we were talking about those different versions of checklists and organizing our room and getting some different folders in there. So again, topic-based, we're going to go from one thing to another. This is not a workflow. You don't need to do all of these things in every transaction that you have, so please don't feel overwhelmed by this or say, oh my God, Janelle, you've added 50 more steps for me to get one document signed. That's not really the case here. We're just trying to provide you with some different tips and tricks. Any questions?
We're all good here.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to stop share real quick and I'm going to get my command pulled up. Let me minimize that. Okay. And the first topic that we are going to be touching on is going to be static data forms. Now, this is actually one of my favorite topics, believe it or not. And this is where we're really going to be saving that time. And I believe last week when we were on the training, this was a topic that was brought up. And I believe we said, stay tuned, we're going to be talking about that. And this is essentially creating a template that we can apply onto the forms in our room that will push commonly used data into it. So say, for instance, we want to make sure that our license number is always on there or our brokerage information, etc. I can create a static data form template for that, apply it to my room, and that information will be fed in there seamlessly for me. So if you were using Dotloop before, I believe there was like a cover, I think it was called a cover sheet or something, where you would essentially apply it onto a packet of forms, or like your buyer packet or your seller packet or whatever that looked like. This is the same thing, but we're applying it form by form versus the packet of forms. Cool. Now, it is going to be a two-step process. We have to create the form first, and then we have to apply the form. And all of this is going to be done in the My Docs tab. So I am in Docusign. I went through Command, of course. Hopefully, we're doing that every time. We're in the transaction, we're in the opportunity. We hit go to transaction, and then this is how I get into Docusign. Now, I'm in My Docs, and I'm going to click Form Templates. Now, this is going to bring up, I have a bunch of form templates in here that I've created. As we can see here, I have one that's for all of my cash deals for my residential contracts. So that means all of the cash boxes are checked, or all of the radio buttons are selected, or all of the kind of cash terms are filled out. That really remains consistent from room to room. I have the same thing for my finance deals here. Maybe I have, particular short sale packets and things that I want to make sure all of those buckets or all of those boxes are checked. I have the notice of withdrawal of offer for the buyer side or for the seller side. And then, of course, I have another 1 to 4 residential contract that I made on 1/12 and a seller disclosure that I made on November 15th. So what I like about these is I can create them for different situations, like the cash deal, the finance deal. I can create them for particular sides, like the buyer side or the sell side, or maybe I can create them for a particular person. So maybe I have Meg, and as we know, the market is crazy and she wants to buy a home and we're looking for the perfect one and we're putting in a bunch of offers. Maybe I create a static data form template for Meg that I apply all of that consistent information over and over onto those forms, and it gets fed in there. So just know that these static data form templates are going to be account specific. So I can't share these with Brittany or Erica or Jennifer. They are just those templates that I've created, and I would apply them onto my forms. So let's talk about how you actually create these templates. Now, since they are off of the form, I need to select the form that I'm creating the template for. So we can see here, I can select either the group or the library. Let's just go into the library here. And let's look at the residential contract again. I like to think, you want to make static data form templates for kind of like your heavy hitter documents, those documents that have more of that consistent information. So that license number, that brokerage information, just some of those terms that you're always typing into your documents over and over again, and you're wishing, if I could just like apply something and it just auto-filled this information for me, that would save me so much time. And this is that form. So I'm not going to be filling out anything that is going to change. Like for instance, the seller name, I probably don't want to put that in because it's going to change from room to room. Now, if I was doing multiple transactions for a particular seller, maybe I'd want to create one. That would be up to you. But ideally, you're only going to be inputting information that is going to remain consistent from room to room, transaction to transaction, etc. So if I scroll down, I'm going to find our brokerage information here. So this is a good area. Some of this stuff automatically pulls in for me, but some of it does not. And this is a great time for me to come in and start filling out everything here. So I'm just going to put some information in here. Again, my license number. Maybe I have, where was that? Maybe I'm going to put Meg here. That's my supervisor, etc. I can come in, check whatever boxes I want, fill out information, put more license numbers, etc. You know the information that remains consistent. You know the information that you want applied into your room. I'm going to make sure that I come in and rename this template because when I'm applying the template, it's going to give me all of my options. So if I just have template 1, template 2, template 3, I'm putting myself in a world of hurt here because I don't know which one is which. So make sure you're always coming in and renaming this template. So when you go to apply it, you're applying the correct template, because just know that I'm not able to remove a template. So once you apply it, you've applied the information, it's floating around, it's in my other documents. And if I need to get that out, I need to go in and do some cleanup there. So the naming is going to help to ensure that you're applying the correct template. All right. What questions do we have about creating a template with our forms? Are we following?
Can we put them in?
Yep, she can hear you.
I can hear.
Them in like folders. I know last time we went over folders. So like if I just templated our agreement of sale, can I put that in a?
I getcha. So essentially what I'm doing here is I'm creating like an overlay document that will be applied to a form that's already in my room. So I can't just pull in a template from the static data form templates. And you may be confusing this just slightly with an e-signature template that I can pull in the envelope of my Docusign room. And I'll kind of leave that at that. If we want to talk about that another time, I can definitely come back and talk about those. But this is going to be a template that I've applied onto a form. So I like to think of like an overlay or like those projection screen kind of like forms that I put over, and it just puts the information through for me. And I'll show you how to do that. So I think once you visually see it, I think it'll connect for you.
Does that make sense?
No, but that's all right.
Okay. I think once she shows you how to apply it, Yeah.
Yep. It'll click. Anybody else have a question?
Looks like we just need an attendance link dropped in the chat.
Oh yeah, Meg can get that. Absolutely. All right, perfect. So we've now created our static data form template. We've identified those forms that we have access to that we would like to use kind of over and over again. Please do not go in and create a static data form template for every single form that you have. That is not what this is for. You want to look at those heavy hitters and create those templates, please. Let's go back into rooms. Now there's a couple ways that I can come in and apply these templates. If the forms are already in my room, I can come to one of my forms here, right click on the form, apply form template. Now this is giving me all of my options that I've previously created. So I see that cash template that I have, I see the finance template that I've created, the template from 112, and then I also see the one that I just created today. I'm going to select that template, and then I'm going to hit apply. So again, what that's doing is it's just updating the information that I put in for that template. So I'm going to click on the form. And once it loads, I'm going to scroll down. So again, all of this information is feeding in from the details. So all of that is standard, regular old behavior that we're familiar with. But when I scroll down, perfect. We can see I typed in that Austin MC earlier with that license number. I selected this radio button. I had this license number in there, Meg's information, etc. So again, it's just overlaying or pushing through that data that we created in the static data form template. And it's as simple as that, just applying the form. Now, what I love about this is that, remember when we were talking last week, if I'm hovering over these kind of fields here, all of them have that yellow kind of notification that's letting you know that this is a mapped field. So any other forms in my room that have that same kind of pop-up that says room.details.sellerbrokerage.license number, this information is automatically going to be fed into there for me. I'm not going to have to click into the form, scroll down, fill this out. I just apply the template and the information is pushed through. Does that make sense? How are we feeling about it now?
She's going to
No?
give us a second.
Okay.
She goes, I'm going to tell you in a minute. I'm a little behind, but I'm following.
I love it. Now that is how we apply the static data form template when the form is already in the room. We also have the ability to apply the template when we're bringing the form in the room. So I'm going to hit Docusign Forms. And now I can see,
I don't think I can make it right here.
I already have them in use. Right, y'all. All right, I'm going to go to another room here real quick. See if I got something. Okay. All right. So remember the form's already in our room. We right click on the document and we hit apply form template and we select the correct one. I can also do this when I'm bringing the forms in the room from the add button over here in the top right. So I went through that process, add, selected Docusign Forms, and now I am just in here in, I think, my library. So I've selected this form because I want to bring in the notice of withdrawal of offer into the room. As we can see, when I've selected that, the template option has popped up. So this is where I can say, okay, document, not only am I pulling you into the room, but I'm also applying a template at the same time, just saving me even more time later, because then the document comes in, the template comes in and all that information is automatically fed for me. There we go. I can pick that.
You don't need folders because you can only see the template that applies to that specific form.
Gotcha.
Exactly. Thank you, Brittany.
No problem. This
Have
is
your-
probably my favorite part of Docusign.
I love static data form templates. This was a huge game changer when they showed us about it and they talked about it, because this is definitely what we were needing very badly.
Yes.
So if you're clicking on a form here and that is not popping up, all that means is that you have not created a template for this form yet. So you just have to go in, My Docs, Form Templates, go in and create that template. So if you're not seeing exactly what I'm seeing, again, that just means that you don't have any templates created, so there's nothing to apply to your forms. But you can fix that easily. All right, how are we feeling about this?
I see some nods.
Are we good? Are we feeling excited? Is it going to save us time?
We have smiles. I'll take it.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
I know it's the first time to hear something. It can be a little bit overwhelming. So that we'll take that as a win. Again, the ultimate thing with the static data form templates is that I can just apply a template onto a form that's going to pre-fill information in there for me that I use over and over again. That's going to save me the time from typing it out in every single room. I create the form once and I use that form in almost all of my rooms if I wanted to. Okay. Let's keep moving. Next up, we're going to talk in-person signing. Now, what I'm about to show you may seem a little like there's a lot of steps in it. And I'm not going to argue with that. So, we can be honest here with each other with this, but good news is that this process is going to be changing in the very near future. We're working with Docusign right now to get some of this in-person signing features in my room, making it a lot easier for me. So we will, of course, communicate that with Brittany when those changes are made so she can get y'all updated. But at least understanding it now will help you when that change happens. Because a lot of the clicks and things are still the same. It'll just look a little bit different. So if you can understand it now and really kind of grasp it, then when that change happens, you'll be golden. So in-person signing is going to be great for when I want to do the signing of the documents in person. Obviously, it's in the name. But when I want to still keep it digital, so I don't want to print out everything and do all the highlighting or do the sticky notes and all of that jazz. I want to keep it that digital form. So after they've signed it, it goes right back into my room and I can continue my process of then submitting to the market center, etc. But I want to be able to do it with them and not send out that envelope kind of in that traditional sense. So let's prep the envelope because that's the first step. So I can select the forms here that I want. So let's just say the release of earnest money. It's my smallest form here. And I'm going to hit create envelope. Now this process is going to look very similar. I can change the envelope name here if I wanted to. So I could do like in person. I could put the name if I wanted to, etc. However you are creating your envelopes and however you are naming them. I, of course, still want to use pre-tag roles. I want to do this every single time. So let's just say I have Jana on here and I have Craig. Now, again, bend your mind a little bit with the examples. Sorry, y'all. But so now I have Jana on here and Craig on my envelope, leveraging those pre-tag roles. If that was the one thing I wanted y'all to remember from last week, I hope you did remember it. We're doing good with pre-tag roles. Now I can click next and just do a final kind of pass through of these documents, ensure that all of my fields where they should be, my signing fields are there, my initial boxes, my date boxes, whatever it is, I can come in and just double check that everything looks good. Perfect. So it looks good. Now, instead of hitting send, kind of that traditional way to send it out digitally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit save and close. because this is now going to keep this envelope in a draft mode. And I can see that right here. Okay. Here's where we're going to buckle up, because we're going to go over to the e-signature side of Docusign. Now, there are two sides to Docusign. There's two platforms, okay? E-signature is like your OG Docusign. Like, this is what has been around since from whenever it's been around. This is the platform probably that we are most used to just in our regular day life. When anybody sends us documents that need to be signed, they're probably sending it from the e-signature side of Docusign. Now, I like to say that Rooms was created for Keller Williams. Now, I don't know if that's totally true or not, but that's what I like to say. So this is like the real estate side of Docusign. This is where we spend 98% of our time on, is Docusign Rooms. So just know we're kind of straddling two products right now. And this is earlier when I said this process is going to change a little bit, because they're going to bring this, what we're doing on this e-signature side, into the room side in the very near future. Docusign is actually changing their product to support this in-person signing that we're requesting. So pretty excited about that they're actually doing something for us based on our feedback, but neither here nor there at this point. Okay, so now we are on the e-signature side, and we need to continue this process.
I missed it.
So,
Oh, yeah.
we're good?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm clicked on managed, and now I'm going to click on drafts, because this is going to show me all of my draft status envelopes. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and I'm going to click continue.
It's the last piece we were waiting for.
Now, this is going to look a little different, of course, than what we're used to, because again, we're on the other side here. We're on the e-signature side, not on Rooms. And what I'm going to do, of course, I can pull in some more documents if I wanted to, but I would have already done that. The documents are perfect. They're ready to go. I don't need to make any edits to that. The only thing that I need to change is under the roles here and the needs to sign function, I'm going to change that to in-person signer. When I do that, host name and host email pops up as an option. This is going to be you, agent, your information, because you're going to be the host of this in-person signer event, because you're going to be there. You're going to be talking them through everything. You're going to kind of have control. You're going to kind of drive things. Same thing with CJ. So CJ, he is going to be in-person signer, and I'm going to be the host for that as well. Now I'm going to click next. What this is going to do, it's going to bring me back to, hey, Janelle, review this one last time. Are you sure it's good? Fields are where they need to be. Information is correct, etc. So everything should be good, because I already did that on the room side. But now I'm going to hit send. And when I hit send, things are going to look a little bit different. This prompt comes up. Do you want to sign this document now or sign later? Now, say I prepared everything, got it ready to go, but I still needed to drive over to where I'm meeting them. Sign later is probably what I would select here. Maybe they're coming into the office. They've just arrived. I've gotten everything good. They're ready to sit down next to me. Sign now is the option that we're going to go with. When I click sign now, it's going to let me know, all right, Janelle, you are the host. So you are in control essentially of this in-person signing event. You're going to be passing the controls over. You're going to help them sign if they need to, or get them a copy of the document. And then you're going to kind of just, again, all in all, be in control of this event. So I'm going to hit start. Now it's going to prompt me. All right, Janelle, agent, you're going to pass the control over to Jana, who is your client. She's in person with you and she's ready to sign. Jana would take control, or I would pass her the keyboard, and she would come through as she would any kind of, if she were to receive this fully electronically and I wasn't sitting next to her. She could click sign. This is where, of course, she can come in and put a third on here if she needed to. Maybe she's Jana Motzkus the third. She can put that. Or power of attorney can come in. I can come in and do some editing or change this name around should I need to. I'm going to hit adopt and sign because she's good. She looked it over. And now she's clicking finish. I can send her a copy should she need it. If I'm in the office, I want to print it. I can print it from here. I'm going to hit continue. Now it's saying, all right, Jana, you are going to pass the control back over to Janelle, who is your agent. She'd either give me the computer, give me the tablet, give me the keyboard, whatever that looks like. And now I have controls. Perfect. Okay. What is this? Thank you. Docusign. Now we have the envelope, and now I can continue with Craig, and he can do the in-person signing. So again, I know you're probably like looking at me crazy, like, Janelle, what's up with all of these steps? What's going on? I totally get it. But again, remember, if we understand this process here, we will easily, when the changes have been made and things have been brought back into the room side, y'all will be great. You'll be golden. You know exactly what to do. So now I've passed the controls to Craig. Craig's coming through. He's signing. And now we are finishing that. Again, I can email that copy and it's passed back to me. Now that's finished. Again, so I did it in person with them. I'm sitting next to them. I'm walking them through everything, talking them through the documents maybe, but it's still done electronically. So now I don't need to worry about any of the paperwork, shuffling it around, uploading it, getting it over to myself, getting it back into my room. It's all done. And all I need to do now is come back into my room. So let's switch back to the room. And I'm going to show you where all of that is signed. And just like our other signed documents that have shown up in our room, we're going to have that kind of certificate saying that things have been signed. I can see the in-person one right here. So I have everything time-stamped, all of kind of the legal things behind that. It's all going to be in that certification there. And then I see this signed document. And remember, I can drag it up and I can move it into my signed documents folder should I want to. Okay. Questions, comments. What do we got?
They may need to rewatch the recording for that piece. That was a lot of steps.
Yes, I agree. I'm definitely not disagreeing with you there. 100%. I totally understand. And it's just really because it straddles those two pieces. So once that comes back over, it's going to be an option when I'm doing my pre-tagged roles to do in-person signer. And then I kind of follow the same process. So
that'll make it a lot easier.
Oh yeah, 100%, Brittany. But as long as we know that it's there, we can do it. Go ahead.
One person mentioned, maybe they want to sign a co-broke, like they need to sign. Mm-hmm. I know there's a way to do that without having to email it to yourself and like going to email. Would we be allowed to show them how to easily do that today? Because I think this might be too many steps.
Sure. So for themselves, so the agent actually has to take action on the envelope.
Yep.
Yeah, let me see if I've queued up a couple envelopes for us to talk later when we're correcting and voiding. Well, let me see something. I don't think no, I already signed it. Okay, hold on. Let's just do this real quick.
Because I think this, Julianne, will be a lot easier than like going through all of that for you to sign co-brokes.
It's easier to just email it.
Yeah. So there is a way that you can like just sign it in the envelope.
Yep.
He's going to show you that now.
Absolutely. So let's say we have that form in our envelope. We still want to use our pre-tagged roles. Okay, again, let's just bend our mind a little bit because I don't have the exact scenario kind of queued up to what y'all are talking about. But I put myself on here and it's going to recognize my email address. So that co-broke role essentially would be here or where the agent needs to do an action or whatever. And I would put myself there. Okay, so let's just kind of look at that. So maybe I have myself doing the action and then my client needs to come in and sign too. So there's 2 people in this envelope. Again, remember, I can manipulate the signing order. So if I wanted to sign first before Jana, I just want to change Jana to second position. So I'll get it first. I have to sign. Once I've completed my signing, then the email will get kicked over to Jana, and then Jana can go through and do what she needs to do, and she'll see my signatures on there. Okay, I'm gonna hit next. Again, I'm not following what I've been preaching. I would have changed the name of the envelope to make sure not everything says please DocuSign. So, all right, and now say this is good to go. I'm gonna send it off. Perfect. Now, do we see here? We now have an additional envelope and it says needs my signature. I'm going to click into it. Now I have the option to sign. If I wasn't in this envelope and it didn't recognize that, I would not be seeing the same option here. I'm going to click sign. It's preparing it. I'm going to come through. Again, I'm acting as the agent. Agent needed to come in and sign somewhere. I'm going to hit finish. And now I'm done. And now the envelope has been shot over to my clients, and now they can go through and sign things. Now, even if I'm last, y'all, even if my clients have to sign first and I'm the last signature that needs to go on there, once it gets to me, the envelope is still going to say needs my signature. So I don't need to worry about forwarding this to myself or anything of that nature. I can easily come in and see it. Like I can't even find which. Okay, perfect. And now I can see that it's been signed by me and now it's on to Jana. Is that what you're meaning, Brittany?
Yep, that's perfect.
Perfect. So again, you're still going to be on the envelope. You'll still probably receive the email because you still have a role within that envelope. But I can easily just, the minute that I send it, I can sign it that quickly. And then I can move on to the next thing.
Yep, you're done and you don't have
Done.
to worry about it.
Yep. Perfect. All right. Any more questions about that or in-person signing? Okay.
I'll sit with you. I have
Again,
two looking at me like, I don't know, Brittany.
I know. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Again, these are tips and tricks. These are additional things. So don't feel like, oh my God, I have to do all these steps just to get a simple check. No, not the case.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about emailing into a room. Now, I love this function because this is going to help me if I'm on the go. Meg, can you see my email up or did I share the wrong way?
I'm still seeing your room's dashboard.
Okay, I need to do a different share here. Hold on.